Suburban America. Yes, I do come back to the States and check the family and things. Stay tuned. Just another PSA. Stop spending these in Dominican Republic. We talk pesos there. So stop spending freaking dollars. This is probably the only time you'll see rico.toro with dollars. Because I talk and spend pesos. Que la que hay, mi gente? Rico.toro. In the suburbs of the good old US of A. Yeah, so guess you're not gonna see palm trees and any scattered tail swagging around behind me from time to time in this one. So anyways, first off, let me thank everybody that happened to reach out or comment on my last video when I mentioned I was here for my pop's 82nd birthday. Appreciate the love, you know, and I'm sure Pop, he appreciates that too, you know. I think sometimes we take for granted, you know, our elders, and you know, when they get up there in those years and not a lot of our parents or grandparents make it to, you know, we have to appreciate that. You know, I think that's what, you know, even though they might not hear it, you know, directly, they feel it. They feel it in their spirit when that love is out there for them. So thank all you guys, you know, thank all you guys that original subscribers and some of the newer subscribers. Thank you all for following along, hanging in there, and becoming friends of the channel. So, drop some gems for y'all. Gems! So, Memorial Weekend, a little prep talk, and also a good time for me to give a few tips to some of the rookie, freshman or sophomore travelers to Dominican Republic out there. Give you guys a few tips, a little knowledge, information, and gems. Yep. So, you know, you book the flight, you know, best thing to do when you're on the way down, already have your cash that you plan to spend. You know, have it with you, tucked away safe, so you don't have to use the ATM when you get there or go to the bank and get money or whatever. You just take your cash you plan to spend with you, and then, you know, once you get there, you're gonna want to exchange those dollars for pesos. We don't spend dollars there. It's pesos. And just learn the basic denominations, which we spoke of before. You know, I'm not gonna go into all the denominations of money again, but the basics are like 50 pesos is worth a little, little less than $1. 100 pesos, a little less than $2. 500 pesos, it's like $9 more or less. 1,000 pesos, about $18 right now. And 2,000 pesos is about $35 US. So and that's the highest denomination of money. So you guys can do a little more research online on the peso amounts. Current exchange rate, it's been dropping slowly. You know, it was at 58, you know, and now it's gradually dipped to where it's about 56.5 to 57, more or less. And you know, it kind of can vary day to day. And so you'll want to, there's several places to exchange money when you get to town. There's the main place a lot of us use is it's in a little plaza just down from Bailey's. If you're like heading to the beach, a lot of time if you're staying in New Garden or Cossaville area or Sosua Inn or some of the more popular hotels, somebody can pretty much always point you in the direction of there. And also you have Western Union and Caribbean Express, where also you'll get like, the more favorable rates. But Western Union and Caribbean Express do require you to bring your passport, whereas many of the other exchange places do not. So there you go. Exchange those dollars for pesos. So now, a couple of tips. How to deal with the ladies. Everybody's favorite topic. The ladies. Trying to work out a little boom, a little action. Yeah. So, tip number one. Don't get too attached or stuck on anyone like you gotta have it. Like if she's just like too rush or impatient, step back a minute. Even if you gotta drink an extra beer or buy her a beer, just to feel her out a little bit, highly recommended. Even if you do have a good vibe, sometimes it's good to do that. Because sometimes that 5 minutes of just feeling them out, having a beer, sometimes that 150 peso or even 200 peso, if you're feeling nice and want to get them a Corona. I don't volunteer to get no Coronas, but I'm not going to be chintzy about it if once in a while somebody asks me for one. So, but that little bit in the front end sometimes, at the end of the day, can save you like 500 pesos on the back end. Just by feeling them out a little bit, you're comfortable, they're comfortable. So don't get too caught up in anyone like you gotta have it if you're not getting a good vibe from her. This is a very instinctive game. It's not an exact science, but things can become very instinctive. So, and then when you're ready to roll, you think you see something you like or whatever, don't ask her what she wants. Tell her, Mama, you seem pretty sweet, pretty cool. Want to roll with me? I'm going to give you 2,000, 3,000. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty exact amounts because I don't enjoy that anymore, talking like that. But throw your number. What's fair to you out there? And usually if you're within reason, she'll either say, "See, yes, let's go. Where are you staying?" Or she might want slightly more. But if you're feeling the vibe is good, nothing wrong with going up a little bit. Just don't go back and forth a lot, because then it's clear, it's not going to be your best experience. So, I'm going to use an example of what happens. See, I have these conversations with some of these girls. When, something many of y'all know, maybe not some of my new friends of the channel, but some of my older friends, they know I got an off and on amiga I've been dealing with a while. And, our sort of roles and relationships have evolved in different ways. But one day when she was crashing me a while, I told her I had plans later, was going to see somebody new. And she asked me, she said, She said, what do you plan to offer her? What do you plan to give her? And I'm like, let's just say, 2,000 pesos. And she's like, give the girl 2,500 or whatever at least, right? I said, I got no problem with that normally, but she's unproven. I don't know her yet. She's new. And I said, but she'll have the opportunity to earn a tip. And she's like, okay, fair enough. And mind you, so the Amiga, she's pretty much a standard, will accept for most 3,000 pesos for a little bit of her time. But, you know, so I asked her that. I said, what are you really basically looking for most of the time from my Amiga, you know? Like and she says, now most of the time around 3,000. I said, all right, good for you. She's not top shelf, but she thinks she is sometimes. But, and then I say, well, what if somebody's new or maybe just stupid and just comes at you wrong? Like, how much do you want? How much do you cost? And she said when they come like that, she just comes out, make it simple as possible, and she says $100. And I'm like, wow, that's so that's almost 6,000 pesos, but you're happy to take 3 most of the time. She said, yes. She said, but they asked me what I want, not what I'll take. See what I'm saying? You know, and if they're like willing to just give it, which some are, they'll take it. So a lot of times these girls, some of them, maybe they're just not coming often, or some of them are, some of them don't, some of them could be bottom tier, bottom feeders, middle of the road, average. And they hear going rate is like $100 or something. Now we're talking short term. And so what they'll do is, you know, they'll hear from some like maybe top shelf type talent is getting this $100. So what do? When people ask, that's what they throw out there, even though they're, you know, not top shelf. So that's why it's important for us to basically throw our numbers out there, keep it in pesos. Hopefully you learn, and that was a gem, you know, right there. But like I said, a lot of them, you know, when people just come up, don't try any finesse. Don't try to, I mean, I get it, there's a language barrier, but you gotta try to talk a little bit, you know, instead of just asking straight up what it is they want, you know. So usually, and also another thing, you know, if whether it's a street vendor, a chick, a store, just about anything, don't express too much interest in anything that you don't plan to buy that same day, because, you know, it's like the assumed sale. They're already counting the money if you act like you're interested too much. So it's best to like say no thank you, keep it moving, and nothing else. Don't apologize, you know, just walk away, turn away. Don't talk about them in front of them, because that'll keep them hanging around too. So best thing is politely say no gracias. And if there is something you're very interested or whatever, say yes. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Nothing wrong with if you do like some jewelry or art or whatever. Nothing wrong with buying it, working out a deal. I don't tell no to everybody. I'm just saying that if you're not interested, don't send mixed signals. You know, they easily go from 0 to 100 with the expectation they're getting money because somebody's window shopping too long. So that's that. All right, so let's talk about if you decide to play the online game a little bit. Tinder. I did a video on online dating, by the way, y'all can check out. You know, just search rico.toro online dating. So, anyways, you decide to play the Tinder, the Facebook, or Badu, or Dominican Cupid market a little bit. Well, a couple things with that. You know, ask them to send you a current pic besides what you just see on there. You know, you might ask them to do a little video chat, you know, or something, you know, so you know who you're dealing with. You know, all the filters and fugazi stuff out there. It's good to know these things. So, and then don't talk about money with them ahead of time. You know, don't get into the nitty gritty. Like, if today's Tuesday and you don't plan to see them till Friday, don't start talking money, how much you're gonna give them Friday. You know, get their WhatsApp after a message or two through the app or site you're using. Get their WhatsApp, and then, you know, when the day comes that you plan to see them, hit them up like an hour before. And if they don't, and then get into that. And again, it's still the same thing. Don't ask what they want. Say, hey, come over here, you know, 2,500 pesos, just roughly ballpark, 2,000, you know. And because remember, they're unproven, sight unseen. You haven't met them in person yet. So, and then another thing, less is more. Like, don't send them like paragraphs of demands and things that you want in exchange for the fees you're paying, because they'll agree to a lot of things that they're really not really agreeing to when only they see is that final number. You know, you're just going to confuse them by asking a lot of details and questions. They're only going to read what they want to hear, or the top phrase or a couple of words or sentence or whatever. So, you know, the more details, the more you complicate things, it's not going to make it better for you. You want to have the key details, you know, basically, you know, what time you're going to be here, you know, basically, you know, you might have one stipulation you're serious about, like, and I'm going to say this once, non-covered head. So that's a serious detail for some, so I understand them saying that. And then basically what their rate is, what you're going to pay them, because you're establishing the rate. And if they happen to beat you to the punch or whatever, you know, just the agreement that it's going to be in. So yeah, I believe in getting things in writing, but not too many details, because they won't necessarily, the more details, the more they get confused. Some of them are not the brightest bulbs on the tree. So, and another important rule, don't send money to anybody you have not met. I don't believe in sending money in general to anybody that is, you know, just whole and goes. But, you know, don't go for that, like, well, Poppy, I want to look good for you. You know, I want to go to the salon and buy a new dress. You know, so send me something so I could get dolled up and look pretty for you. Because chances are, if you do that, you'll never see them. You know, they're just happy they took what you're willing to give them for nothing at that stage and ran off with it. So that's that, man. So other than that, you know, it's like be safe, you know, don't drink too much. And these tips, I'm telling you, they're gonna help you, whether it's Memorial Weekend, Super Bowl weekend, any random Tuesday, all the time, by you by you speaking the price and the terms rather than asking them what theirs are, that's like good all the time, all year round, you know, as long as you're fair and reasonable, you know. Like the goal is not to cheat anybody feeling like, you know, you're getting over or them feeling like they're getting over. You know, they have a mentality like somebody's going to lose. It's either going to be them or it's going to be us. But I don't look at it that way. I look at it like it can be a win-win. It could be a good experience for us and them. And, you know, like I always say this, firme pero justo, which means I'm firm, but I'm fair. And usually works well. So, like I say, you want to be safe, don't want to drink too much, don't go with two girls you don't know at the same time. Don't have two girls you don't know very well, especially if you had too much to drink, going back to your hotel, apartment, or villa. Just don't do that. That's my only advice. Like I say, don't do it, because we know there's been some guys that got caught out there by doing that, and it's hard to maintain control of your spot when you have extra people there with you like that. So stay safe. Hit me up when you come down, and be well. Hope to see y'all soon. Rico Toro.